Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So today I'm going to be talking about two potential landing spots for Trent Williams. If you guys are new, subscribe for Redskins and NFL content. So let's get right into it. So yesterday it came out that by Michael Lombardi, who's a well-known insider, that OJ Howard could be traded, or they're looking to trade him. Obviously, this is a rumor, so if you don't like rumor videos, you don't have to watch this. But we have been linked to the Bucks for Trent Williams for a while, and an OJ Howard for Trent Williams trade and maybe give us a pick does make sense because it would give us some draft capital and also give us a starting tight end, which makes us not have to draft a tight end at least in the first 4 rounds this year if we don't want to. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like, let's say, Trent Williams for OJ Howard and a fourth round pick. What would you guys say? Yes? Would you say no? Let me know in the comments down below. I think I definitely would. OJ Howard is a is a decent tight end. Last year, played 14 games, 460 yards, and a touchdown. Wasn't his best year, but he also didn't have a great quarterback playing for him. And I feel like if Dwayne Haskins develops this offseason, he can, and they work out a lot, they can potentially be a great duo. And it's definitely better than anything the Redskins have. And he's only 25 years old and is still very young and can still be developed. And he's from Alabama, so he has a lot of chemistry with some of the players on the Redskins right now. So that's one trade rumor. If you look at it right here, if we wanted to trade Trent Williams straight up for him, and the reason why this makes sense for the Bucks is because their left tackle Donovan Smith is not good at all, and Brady last year struggled without any protection. And yes, this is taking away a weapon from them, but they already have Michael Evans, Chris Godwin, and they do have Cameron Brate, and that's another potential trade piece. If we do Cameron Brate and a third round pick, I would do that too. So if you look at OJ Howard's salary, it's pretty much $2 million, and we save around $10 million, so $10.5 million. And I think they need a little more cap space to do this trade. So I would be fine with taking maybe $3 million of the cap hit for this year. I think I would be fine with that. Let me know, guys, what you guys think about this trade. Like I said, you get a tight end that already had about 500 yards last year and the year before, and is one of these guys that has a really high potential if you coach him up right. And we have a lot of veterans on our team, or a couple tight end veterans that can help him out. But I do think this is probably a realistic trade. And if we go back to this, I'll read it a little more. He said, Lombardi can see the Buccaneers trading Howard either during the draft or in the days leading up to it. Howard, 25, is a former first-round pick of the Bucks back in 2017. He signed a 4-year, $11 million deal, and yeah, he has a fifth-year option to pick up this offseason. So if they pick it up, he'll have 2 years left. So yeah, this is exactly what he said. He recently spoke to a league source who told him that he doesn't expect tight end OJ Howard to be back with the Bucks in 2020. So if that is true, I think a straight up trade for Trent Williams, I would still be fine with that, but I would probably want a little more than that, maybe at least a fifth or fourth round pick, something like that, to give Kyle Smith some more draft capital, so he can go after another tight end later in the round or go after tackle, cornerback, anything of that nature. And yeah, now we'll go to the other trade rumor that we've been linked to, but also the Texans are potentially going to do this. So they have a lot of receivers on their roster right now because they got Brandon Cooks, they got Will Fuller, and they got Randall Cobb also in this offseason. So they have Kenny Stills. So they have a lot of receivers, and not necessarily all of them might not want to stay on the team if they're not going to get as many catches. So I think Kenny Stills is a potential trade partner with the Redskins. If we went Kenny Stills and a third round pick for Trent Williams, I would love that because that gives you a guy who had about 500-600 yards last year and is a veteran wide receiver that can help out these other receivers and can help play right away. And his cap hit isn't even that bad, $7 million. He's 28, and this is what they said: the 28-year-old Stills is in the final year of his contract and has a $7 million cap hit, no guarantees. they said if Houston can't find any takers for a late round pick, he could be released. If he's released, I would go and right away get him. But honestly, why not give up our last seventh round pick? I think it's 230th overall, because there's a chance we find someone who's as good as Stills, but really it's a very low chance. So getting someone like this kind of solves your receiver problem right away, and you have a good receiving core of Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims, and Kenny Stills, and I think that would be good. If you look at Kenny Stills' stats last year, didn't play bad at all. Last year, if you look at it, he played in 12 or 13 games, started 5 of them, had 560 yards and 4 touchdowns, so still played good. Had the second best catch percentage of his career, and didn't get targeted as much as he did in the past. And that's partly because he had DeAndre Hopkins on his team, so I feel like, and Will Fuller. So if he had a little more, I think in Washington he could potentially get upwards of 600 or 700 yards, because he's going to be one of the better receivers. He's obviously not as good as Terry, but he's like somewhat close to Terry. He had an 840 yard season in 2017 with Miami and had 6 touchdowns. So he has had some good season before, and 930 yards in New Orleans. And if we can trade him, honestly, if we just want a straight up trade for Trent, or not, if we just did a 7th round pick for Kenny Stills, I would do that immediately. But if they're not looking to do that, and they are looking to they want another tackle to help out Deshaun Watson, and obviously they have Laramie Tunsil who can play left tackle, but they're looking for a right tackle, and Trent Williams can play both sides. Most tackles can, but Trent Williams definitely can. He did so in college too, and in high school. So I think if they went Trent Williams, give us a third and Kenny Stills, I would do that, because it's kind of like you get a 3rd round pick and a mid-round pick, kind of, because Kenny Stills is kind of worth that. So, or you could go maybe a 3rd, 5th, and Kenny Stills. That would be acceptable too, and maybe work out a contract extension with Kenny Stills, because Kenny Stills is a young, but he's had a lot of years in the league, about 7 years in the league. So he's very experienced, has had always been good in the locker room. Nothing, we've never heard really anything bad about him. So I think it would be good for Ron Rivera. I think he would like this if he is indeed available. Let me know down in the description if you guys would like that or not. Let's look at how that would work if we did a trade real quick right here. So it would be obviously with the Houston Texans, and we have around $26 million in cap space, so the cap would work out. So you can go, Laramie Tunsil is 10 point. Yeah, I mean, and you know how bad the Texans are at trades, so we could easily finesse them and get some like miracle trade. So if you look at that, if we just did, obviously we're not going to do a straight up the player for player deal saves us about $5.5 million in cap space, and then throw in a 3rd and maybe a 5th round pick, and I would do that just because you get a solid veteran receiver plus 2 mid-round picks, or 1 mid-round pick and a late-round pick. I think that would be good. You can use that mid-round pick to get a tight end or someone else like that. And also, I did hear from a couple of sources on Twitter that the Redskins, I mean, most teams do this, and most teams should, but sometimes teams reach, instead of getting the best player available, they go for team needs. The Redskins will be drafting the best player available instead of going for need, which I do agree with. I think you don't want to reach for a player that you think is better for your team just because your positional needs. I think getting the best player available is always the best option, or the player with the highest upside. There's a couple of those guys in there. I do hope, though, with that 3rd round pick, not necessarily go for a certain position, but maybe zero in on tackle, wide receiver, cornerback, and tight end. One of those 4 positions. Obviously, if there's a crazy good guy there, that maybe a linebacker, a safety that was supposed to be in the 1st round, but he dropped all the way to the 3rd round, and you're comfortable taking him, then go ahead and take him there. But I want us to focus on those 4 positions for that 3rd round pick. Not necessarily 1, but those 4. We need to come out of this draft with the starting tight end, in my opinion. Maybe Logan Thomas can be that, but I do think we need to get someone who has starting potential. And if you guys did not go watch my video yesterday about 10 sleepers in the draft, go ahead and watch that. I have a few tight ends there, a couple tight ends there, some receivers, and some other positions. Very good. So go ahead and watch that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a rumor video, but I still think it's interesting to see what you guys think about these trade scenarios. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Which one would you prefer? OJ Howard and a 4th for Trent Williams, or Kenny Stills a 3rd and a 5th for Trent Williams? So let me know down in the comments below. Go watch that video I posted yesterday. Not the stream, but the video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and peace.